Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Sorcerer, which is a 2 to 4 player game published by White Wizard Games. Now, just to start off, this game really seems to be designed for 2 players, although it can play up to 4. When we go down to the table and I give you a really brief overview of how the game plays, you're going to see that I'm going to set it up for 2-player and show you 2-player. Now, this game here, you're going to be trying to control 2 out of 3 locations to win the game. You're going to be doing that by deploying minions and fighting the location and the opponent's minions until you get 2 locations to win. Let's go ahead down to the table here. I'm going to show you a just brief overview of the game. Then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Alright, so this is Sorcerer, and I first wanted to show you the meat of the game. This is the biggest thing in the game and what makes every gaming experience unique in this game system here. Now, primarily, I think this feels like a 2-player game, although you can play it for more. But what you're going to do is you're going to pick a character, you're going to pick a domain, and you're going to pick a lineage. And this is going to create your deck, your unique deck for the game. So as you can see, you have a good different selections of these that you can have, and each different choice is going to create a different style deck. And each of these decks here are very asymmetric with their cards and their art and how they play. So each of these decks have a really big change to them and a different feel. So you can get used to one play style here and then move on. So you'd pick a deck, and then you're going, and you can draft these, you can pick whichever way you want to do it, but you're going to pick a deck. They're going to have one unique card on the top for the character. You're going to set that aside there. Then you're going to pick a location here, and whatever location you pick here, there's going to be a card here you're going to set aside. You can tell because they have the neat border on them. And they have a slightly different back. And then you're going to take this location deck and you're going to place it in here. So we got like a fire and ice sort of feel going in here. And then you're going to pick a lineage. So do you want to be a blood lord? Do you want to be a animist? Do you want to be a druid? Do you want to be a demonologist? Do you want to be a necromancer? And I think we actually want to be a druid, so that would fit. And again, you have a special card, and you'll place that. You have 3 special cards, and this is going to make up your deck. And you will shuffle this up. So each player again is going to pick their character, location, and lineage. They're going to get their deck, and then we're going to get ready to play the game, which I'll show you here. I'll set that up. Alright, so this is a partially shown game setup. You'll have a mirror of this for the other player on here, but you'll have 3 locations out here. And basically what you're trying to do is you're trying to gain control of 2 of them. If you gain control of the 2 of them, you win. If your opponent gains control of 2 of them, you lose. And throughout this game, you're going to be played in rounds, and you're going to continue on until that occurs. Now, what you're going to do to start the game, like I said, you're going to pick your 3 decks here, shuffle them up, and that'll make your play deck for the game. And then you're going to make sure you kept your special cards from each of those choices out here. And you'll get one of these sigils here to start. You'll set yourself at 6 here, and you'll set yourself at 6 here. So you'll have both of those set for you. This is going to be 6 actions, and this is how much energy you got. You'll draw 6 cards, so everyone will draw, 6 cards for the game. And you will not draw cards normally on your turns without paying for them again. Now you can take a look at your hand, and if you don't have any of these creatures in it, you can mulligan until you do. So basically discard and draw that many cards until you get some creatures down there, but you should. Now, the main cards in the game are going to be these cards right here, which are going to be your creatures that you're going to deploy in the game to defeat your opponent and take control of the location there. So these creatures here are going to have a cost, so this would cost 3 energy to bring out. Then it's going to have an attack, which is going to use 3 dice here, and it's going to have a defense, so how many hits it can actually take. until it dies. And some of them have effects. Like this one has an ongoing effect. Your other minions get +1 attack. So you're going to probably want to keep more minions in that location for you. You're also going to have some item cards that can show up and some spell cards shown with this little spell mark right here. So this card is going to be a card that you can play. This will be 1 energy and it'll do its effect and be done. Also in here there's going to be some items. Item cards. Here, see if you find an item card. They'll give you different effects here, but maybe this deck doesn't. It's ignite. Some of them will give you plus. I can't believe this deck might not have any. Okay, anyway, there's also item cards, and item cards you can attach to your creatures, and they can become more powerful. So the game rounds are shown, and what happens on a game round is shown on your player board there. You're going to start with the ready phase. The first player gains the fate counter, and you're going to put it on the full side up. And you're going to be switching this on and off as the game goes by. And you can use this for some powerful effects I'll tell you in a second here. You're going to ready any exhausted cards. So when you place out your person, wherever it's at, you're going to be able to use these abilities. And you can only use them once. And you'll turn them to the side there once you use them. And then at this point of the round, when it hits this, you'll be able to unexhaust them. Then you get to make a pick. You make a choice. The first player is going to choose. They can either roll this 8-sided die, so you can get up to 8 energy with this, or each person just gets 4 energy. So if you decide each person is going to get 4 energy, we'll just go up to 10 energy there, and we'll be able to continue on. Now, if you roll that, you're going to get what you want. Like in this case, that'd be 8. That'd be amazing. But that's the next thing. You're going to set your action tracker to 6. Each player is going to gain an omen. I already have my omen, so we can skip that one because we already set up. And starting with the first player, players put their avatars on the battlefield. So wherever I put my avatar, which is going to be this standee here, I'm going to be able to use these cards. So abilities. So maybe I'll throw mine there, an opponent will throw them there. That is the importance of this avatar. It shows where you can use these abilities that you gain for those selections that you had at the beginning of the game. That's going to end the ready phase. Now we only have 3 more phases. We're going to have the action phase, the battle phase, and the end of round phase. So in the action phase, you're going to be spending your action points to do things. So starting with the first player, you can spend an action point to do several different things here. You can channel energy, which will gain you cost you an action point, and you'll gain some more energy, 2 energy. You can meditate, which will cost you an action point, and that's going to be draw 2 more cards into your hand that you can use. You can cast a spell. So remember, I was showing you these spell cards. I could cast a spell for 1 energy, and it'll do what it says on the bottom there. I can activate a power, so I can use the action effect of any of my cards here, so I can activate a power. I can reinforce. I can move one of my minions or swap 2 minions from adjacent battlefields. Now, when I do that, if they don't have flying, they can only move to an adjacent battlefield. If they have flying, they can go to any of the battlefields. So deploying any of these creatures, so if I want to deploy this creature here, I'm going to pick which battlefield I want to put it, and this will be the energy cost that's going to be. So this will cost me 2 energy, and I can place that guy there. Now you're only going to get 1 action, then the opponent gets the action, then you can come back and you do another action, and you're going to continue on doing this until you run out of action points. Once everyone's out of action points, we're going to go into the battle phase. So starting with the battlefield to the first player's left. So I'm the first player here to my left. Now, the way this is going to work is the first player is going to have initiative in this battlefield, but the second player is going to have initiative in the battlefield to the left and the right. So that means they get to go first. So how does that work? Well, you're going to exhaust one of your minions to declare an attack. So if I wanted to, I could exhaust one of these minions here to declare attack. I would look at the number right here, and that's how many dice that I would roll. Now, the dice here have a couple different symbols on it. You have these skulls, and you have this critical here. So the critical allows me to pick whether I want to damage the location, and all I need to do is get this marker all the way to 12, and then I can gain control of this location. Or if my opponent, I'm just going to throw a minion over there, had a minion over there, I can choose to damage the minion. That's what the critical gets to do. Now these skulls, whenever I get these skulls here, the opponent chooses whether the damage goes to the location or a minion. So the criticals are much better because I get to pick, but the skulls are also good. But or I could get a blank, which is bad. Now when I roll my die here, so I got 2 skulls, either myself or the opponent can use these sigils here to cause a die to be re-rolled. And if they do, we roll that. If the opponent does, they roll my die. If I do, I re-roll my die. And then once we're done with that, we can continue on to resolve the damage. An additional thing is the first player gets this really cool seal here, and you can use it once and flip it over, and that lets you re-roll all the dice of either your opponent's or yours, but only once for that round for the first player. So that's going to be how attacking works. And then after we battle for all these rounds here, for all these locations, from left to right for the first player. So it'd be this for left to right. When it's this player, it'll be this left to right. We're going to move on to the end phase. And there's not much to do on the end phase. It's just going to be sometimes your cards have end phase abilities. Those would fire off. Otherwise, if no one's won the game, you're going to go back to the ready phase. And we're going to continue doing this on and over until someone has won. Now, again, to win, you're going to do enough damage that you're going to get one of these locations to 12. Once you do, you're going to flip this over, and you're going to put the marker on the side that actually was able to do that and controls that. If you control 2, you win. If your opponent controls 2, you lose. So just to reiterate the importance of these standees are really important because that's the only location you can use these abilities at. And you can only use these abilities one time per round, and they refresh in the next ready phase. So that, in a really quick nutshell, is really how simple this game is. It's very easy to teach and really easy to get into. And the biggest portion of this game is going to be this deck creation here, where you're going to pick how you're going to create your deck, and it's going to be a unique experience every time because each of these decks are unique. So let's go ahead back up the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on Sorcerer. All right, so that was Sorcerer. Sorcerer component quality is amazing. I love the thickness of the player boards. The dice are really cool. The card quality is really good. The art on this game I really, really love. I love all the different art on all the different cards. I love the art on the board, on the locations. Just great art for this game. I love the fact, for gameplay wise, how you have all those different decks that you can pick from that make it sort of like infinitely replayable and give you a different feel every time. That is really cool. I like how the decks are. Art really draws me in, and how they're thematically set to what you picked, and that is all great. So this game here is going to be a game that's easy to teach. It's sort of close to family weight game that you're going to be able to play like really quick duels with. It's really, again, I think it's just really meant for 2 players, and not take up a lot of time, but yet be really cool and unique each time. Now, this game didn't do anything new gameplay wise. It's pretty simple. The meat of the game, like again, is saying the flavor of the decks that you create in there. However, I could see that getting a little old over time. So they have a lot of expansion packs that you can get for that, so you can sort of bring more into the game. But I would not be surprised if maybe I'm not like playing this game in a couple months or whatnot. But overall, though, I think it is a solid game. So if you're looking for a really easy teach game that really quick to play, like doing the head-to-head 2-player stuff, this is a game you want to check out. If you want to have like a more complex strategy game for 2 players, this isn't going to be it. But like I said, if you're looking for the lighter weight end, this is one that you may want to check out. Again, really love the art, really like the gameplay. Just doesn't do anything, different or unique, but it's all there. It all works out. So that's my thoughts on Sorcerer. Thank you for watching.